Welcome to Center to Right. Today we're going to talk about something different, which is 10 things that every parent should teach their children about money. So let's get right into it. The first thing you have to teach your kids, you start early, is how to count money. Now what you do is you start early with pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollar bills. You can combine this with children learning how to count in kindergarten or elementary school, because a lot of times they say you have 3 apples and 2 pears. How many pieces of fruit do you have, or whatever? You have 3 apples here, 2 apples here. How many apples do you have? Well, you can do the same thing with money. One thing about money that's a challenge with children when you're teaching them is that it just doesn't seem to make sense to them sometimes how 5 pennies equal 1 nickel. Like, it's real easy for them to see 2 apples and 2 apples is 4 apples. But when you try and transition between 5 pennies equals a nickel, well, that can be a challenge. But start early. Teach them what money is and how to count it. 10 pennies equals 1 dime. 10 dimes equals $1. And then you have to show them that dollar in different ways, like a dollar bill or 2 50-cent pieces. You get the idea. The second thing you need to teach them early on is how to spend money. I see a lot of parents doing this they buy food for their kids. Like when you go to McDonald's, they say, well, what do you want to have? And I want a hamburger and French fries. Okay, well, so they buy it for them. Now, what you should be doing is letting them buy it themselves. You already know that your kid likes a hamburger and fries and a Coke, and it costs $5, let's say. So you tell your kid, hey, here's $5, buy what you want to eat here for lunch. And let them do that. And then when you get them back to the table after they've eaten, you show them, hey, you had this $5, here's how much change they gave you back, here's the receipt. And by the way, the advanced piece of this is they have to figure out later on when they get much older is how to leave a tip. Like 10% of this is how much. That'll really throw them for a loop. But get them to spend money early. Do it right there with them, and then eventually have them go up and do it on their own. It teaches them a lot about the value of a dollar. As your kids get older, you need to help them to learn to take advantage of living at home, particularly in high school. They need to be taught that there is a cost for them living at home that you pay. How much do they pay? How much are you paying for them to live in your house in food and energy, clothes and things of that nature? And you need to teach them that, hey, while they're at home, you're paying for this. So if they get $20 for mowing a yard, they need to take $5 or $10 of that, or however much, and put it in savings. They need to have a savings account early, and they need to be taught to put that money into their savings account and not to touch it. In other words, when they leave the house, they're really going to be on the hook for cost. Help them learn that and allow them to put money in savings account early while they are living at your home. If your children decide later on as they grow up that they want to go to college, they will save so much money, and I know everyone's heard this already, but they will save so much money by going to community college. If they're going to go to a 4-year school, do the first 2 years at a community college. And most community college have worked out agreements with major 4-year institutions that allow most, if not all, of those credits to transfer to a 4-year degree. If you don't want to go to college, the best place to learn a hands-on trade like being an electrician or AC or something like that is to get most of the prerequisite training done in a community college. So community colleges have so much to offer. And you do not need to go to a 4-year institution all 4 years to come out with a 4-year degree and all the good pieces and parts that go with having that sheep's wool from that place. The next thing you have to teach them is they have to pay themselves first. So paying themselves first means if they get $500 a week from their job, the first thing they have to do is put money into savings or an IRA or whatever. The first thing that comes off the top is something that's going to help them later on in life or in an emergency, such as creating an emergency fund. The next thing is do not carry debt. Your children need to be taught early what debt actually is, especially with regard to credit cards. Your credit card should be paid off monthly. You should use that credit card to your advantage. It's a short-term loan with no interest as long as you pay it off every month. And your kids need to learn that, and they need to see what happens, how much something costs if you pay $500 for it with a credit card and pay it off over time. Once you show them that, they're paying $1,000 for a $500 object, hopefully it'll sink in. But again, always pay your credit card bill in full. The next thing is they need to live well within their means. I really believe that the current generation is getting this under control. They don't have a lot of stuff. And that's the key to living within your means, is not having a lot of stuff. What do you really need to have? Then get that. You know, people are so angry at a lot of these young kids because they don't own a car or whatever. Well, they're being pretty smart. If they can Uber around town, their transportation expenses might be $200 a month or whatever, but they're not paying $500 for the cost of a car that they took a loan out for. They're not paying for the insurance and all the other pieces and parts that go into owning transportation. So try and live well within your means. Do you really need 2 coats, or will 1 coat work? Like for instance, right now, I have 1 raincoat. I use it for everything. I don't work anymore, but I do use that 1 raincoat for everything. If I'm out on the trail hiking, that's the raincoat I take. If I'm going to visit my son in DC, that's the raincoat I take. So for me, I really don't care what anybody thinks. I just need the raincoat, and the 1 raincoat works for me. I don't need 5 different raincoats. The next thing is this is a hard one. Stay single or stay married. We do not realize, people do not realize how much more successful you can be if you're fortunate enough to find a partner that you can live with your entire life. Every time you divorce, you lose money big time. Actually, it depends. Some people gain money when they divorce, but most people just simply lose, especially over the long term. So don't get married to someone, oh God, this is hard to say. Make sure that whoever you're getting married to, that you have systems in place where you know what's going on with your money, they know what's going on with their money, and that if you do have to bail out of the marriage, you'll be able to take some of your money with you. But the bottom line is when 2 people work together and they get a lot of things, a lot of pieces, a lot of parts, and they try and divide those up, man, you just lose a lot of money. So either stay single or get married to the right person. Probably the most important thing, and I can say this as an older person, is begin savings for retirement early. And saving for retirement is so easy if you can just start with $50 a month in today's environment. Most people make enough money to where they can pay $50 and put it into an IRA, like a Roth IRA. That money will grow. Man, it grows incredibly. It's incredible how it will grow at $50 a month. Remember, paying yourself first. And $50 a month when you're 23 compared to if you're 50 and all of a sudden you realize, man, I don't have enough money to retire. And to equate that, you'd probably have to put in $5 or $6 or $100 or maybe $1,000 a month into an IRA, which, by the way, you can't put like over 6,000 or 5,000 in an IRA or 7,000 depending on where you're at. But the bottom line is you may not even be able to catch up in an IRA if you wait too long. And so begin saving for retirement early. Begin with a small amount. You'll find that if you just start with $50, man, a year or two later, you'll be putting 75 in there. You'll realize how easy it is. You'll really enjoy paying yourself first. Finally, teach your children to use their raise as simply an increase for their savings. Let's say that I make $60,000 a year and I learn how to live within $60,000 a year. I got a little savings account, I got things going on, drive a hoopty maybe, whatever it is, but you're living within your means. And then your boss says, hey, you've been doing a great job. We're going to up you to $62,000 a year. You know what most people do with that money? They spend it. They put it right into their incoming monies that they use every month. The best thing to do is take that money and increase the amount of money that goes into either your IRA or your savings. Man, it will grow. And when you put that money into your daily expenses, it just disappears. So you can save a lot of money by using these 10. I don't know if I'm at 10 or I went over 10, but by using these 10 pieces, you can help your kids save a lot of money by teaching them this. So I hope you stuck with it. I hope you found some value in what I said. If you did, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe. But thanks for listening.